of seriousness. You must do it with every sense of seriousness that if you apply, then your resume must definitely be noticed and you must be shortlisted. It's a mindset, and that mindset is what informs how you approach the whole process. If you just decide to say, oh, you just casually, if you just see an opportunity and then you casually just send your CV, you don't take the time to do certain due diligence in the process, you may just as well have, you may just as well, you are leaving it to chance. That's what it simply means. You are leaving it to chance. And if you're seriously looking for an opportunity, maybe you're looking for a job or you're looking for better opportunity, you can't leave anything to chance. You can't just send your CV and just hope that, oh, maybe they will call me. I mean, I remember when several years back, uh, I used to have I used to do like that too. Every time I see an opportunity, bam, I carry down my CV, one CV that I don't even know how any of the things that I put there, how they make sense, really. I just carry, so when I see an opportunity, I just carry my CV and I just send. Every opportunity that I just carry my CV, I just send it. And I wasn't getting any response. I wasn't getting any response. I wasn't getting any feedback. I wasn't even getting any regret emails to say, oh, I found other people. That simply means only one thing. My CV is not getting to the right place it's supposed to get to. It's not getting in front of the right audience that it's supposed to go to. It's probably being filtered away during the ATS, on the ATS platform, or whenever I sent it to their emails, they just look at it and say, this one is not serious, and just dump the CV somewhere. But then a time came when I now also started understanding why I need to pay more attention to my resume and why I need to take the time to craft every resume, to tailor every resume to any opportunity that I'm applying for. And I can assure you, without any gainsaying, it has worked like magic. It has worked like magic. I can barely apply for any opportunity now, and I will not get called. And it's not boasting. It's what it is. It's what is working. If I send my CV or my resume for an opportunity, the chances that I'm going to get called or get an email that, oh, they've noticed my email, my CV is very high, very, very high. And then, I mean, I've gotten opportunities, I've gotten several opportunities and all of that. So there are certain things that you can do that makes your resume or your CV to stand out. All right. There are certain things you can do that gives you an edge over every other person who is taking every opportunity they find. They are taking it or leaving it to chance. All right. So as we move on, I just want to quickly ask us a question, and I would like us to respond in the chat box, or if you like to use the microphone, please feel free. I just want to ask us, how many of us can tell us the difference, maybe one difference or two differences between a CV and a resume? You would have noticed that I kept, switching from CV to resume. How many of us can tell us what maybe one difference or two differences between a CV and a resume? I would like us to respond quickly. You can type in the chat box, or you can use the mic, right? Right, I'm waiting. The differences between a CV and a resume. One or two differences. Anybody? Or you would like me to call names? I need to be sure that we're here, we're engaging on this session. Okay. Blessing, if you're there, can you tell us? Thank you, Joseph. Joseph Owolabi says, a resume is a concise or summary, while CV is the comprehensive details about you. Thank you very much. Any other person, any other comments? Okay. Because of our time, I guess I'll move right along. Thank you very much, Joseph. Joseph is correct to a large extent. A resume, so a CV, let's just look at it. A CV that also means curriculum vitae is a Latin word, and basically what the word means is the course of life, is the course of life. It simply means a CV simply means everything about you everything about you in terms of your academics, in terms of your work experience, in terms of your interest, in terms of your hobbies, in terms of your research interest, your research areas, and all of that. Your CV contains all of this information. Sometimes you could even go all the way to include your primary school information in your CV, because you're just trying to tell anybody that you're sending your CV to that this is everything about me, as far as education, professionalism, career, and all of that is concerned. On your CV, you can have volunteer experience, you can have internships and all of these things. You can have your research publications on your CV. It just shows everything you have done. You can include all your work experience. However, a resume is a bit different. A resume is slightly different from that. Your resume is a is a summarized document, just like Joseph said. It's a summarized document that contains relevant information, uh, about you, that aligns with the opportunity that you are applying for. All right. So let's say you've been, and then of course, another thing, a CV is most appropriate. A CV is most appropriate for an academic engagement. Is most appropriate for an academic engagement. Of course, you can use it for other purposes, but it is most appropriate for an academic engagement. So if you're looking to apply for a master's degree, or you're looking to apply for a PhD, or you're looking to study abroad, what have you, you can use your CV for all of those kind of applications. Maybe also some kind of other high-level engagements, like maybe political appointment, or something that has to do with public service, and all of that. You can use your CV for those kind of applications. But when it comes to applying for certain jobs, specific roles, let's say, for example, a marketing manager, when it is time to apply for a role like a marketing manager, what would be most appropriate is your resume. And it simply means that all the information that you're going to have in that resume would be tailored to that opportunity. So you don't, let's, for example, you studied education, you've done a master's in maybe some education area of interest and all of that. And also, because of the skills that you have acquired, or some skills that you have acquired, you have been able to work as a marketing specialist, maybe for 1, 2, or 3 years in maybe one or two places. And then you now want to apply for a marketing manager role. You don't need to be including all those other information about your master's in education administration, or all those things about. Of course, you can include as education, you can include it, but any information that doesn't directly gives you an edge, any information that doesn't directly gives you an advantage for that opportunity that you're applying for, is not necessary on your resume. You don't need to put all those your research interests, all those your hobbies, and all of that in your resume. Only if they give you an advantage. Only if they give you an advantage for that opportunity. That is when you should put them on your resume. All right. So in a simple explanation, that's one of the differences between your CV and your resume. I'm going to share my screen in a few seconds now, so we can take the conversation further. Right. You can let me know if you can see my screen. Do let me know if you can see my screen now. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so just to quickly summarize what I've just said, what are some of the key differences in your CV and your resume? Your CV showcases a complete professional and academic journey, while your resume focuses on relevant experience for a specific job. Your CV could be of varying lengths, CV, because of all the plenty information that you have in there, you could maybe have it as 3 or 4 pages, while your resume should not, as a standard, even if you've worked for like 10 years, as a standard, your resume should really not go beyond 2 pages, really, or maximum maybe 3 pages if you have quite substantial achievements on those jobs that you want to show. It shouldn't go beyond 2 pages, 2 or 3 pages. Your CV usually includes a more detailed history and all of that. I've talked about that. While your resume emphasizes work experience, it shows your skills and then accomplishments that are relevant to the job that you're applying for. All right, so let's move right along. Now that we have talked about the difference between a CV and a resume, how do you develop a good or a winning resume? What are the things that you need to do to make your resume to stand out, to make it to be fit for whatever opportunity you are applying for? And one thing I want you to bear in mind again is that your resume is a tailored document. The resume that you use to apply for a marketing manager role is not going to be fit for a project manager role. I'll say that again. The resume that you prepared to apply for a marketing manager opportunity is not appropriate, is not fit to be used to apply for an opportunity for a project manager. It's not. So you don't think, oh, because you have a resume that looks fine, it looks good and all of that, you can just use it to apply for any opportunity. No, it doesn't work that way. That is why a lot of people you don't get feedback, you don't get responses for the opportunities that you apply for. That is why it is called a resume. It has to be tailored. Yes, are there transferable accomplishments? Are there transferable experiences on your marketing manager experience resume that you can tailor for a project manager role? Most likely, you just need to understand how to word them, how to craft them in such a way that they are now fit and appropriate for a project manager opportunity. All right. So I want us to bear that in mind as we progress with this conversation. Right. So, of course, what are the general elements of a resume? You have your personal details. You have your personal details, you have your skill, you have a headline. Maybe not compulsory, but yes, if you have worked for maybe 3 years, 3 years or more, I think you should have a headline. A headline will still get there to tell you what role that headline is playing on your resume. All right. So you should have a headline, you should have your personal profile. You should have your personal profile. And then you should you should outline your core skills. Again, the skills that are relevant for this opportunity, that you're applying for, not just all your skills, You could maybe have good singing skills. How is that related to a project management role? All right. So skills that are relevant. Then you want to also show your work history and your work history and experience. Then you should show your education and your licenses and certificates. Again, licenses and certificates that are relevant to this opportunity. Okay, so let's take, for example, now you have what they call the TRCN license. That's the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, I think. You have a TRCN license and a TRCN certificate. However, you are applying for a marketing manager job role. You tell me, how does a TRCN certificate or license, how does it help you in your marketing manager job? The only way, and I'm going to explain, the only way it could make sense, the only way it can make sense in this life is if this role is within an educational setting, and maybe your marketing job has to do with selling to teachers. It has to do with selling to teachers and educators. And then you can use that to prove to them to say, oh, I am even experienced in your space, so I am qualified to sell to you. And so your TRCN license and certificate then becomes relevant. It then makes sense. But you're applying for a project, a marketing manager in a telecommunications industry, and you're putting TRCN. Make it make sense. It's an entirely irrelevant information that should not be anywhere near on your resume. All right. So please, let's keep that in mind. Relevance, relevance, relevance. Any information you are putting on your resume has to be relevant to the opportunity you are applying for. Then additional sections that you can put, like I said, achievements. If you have some relevant and substantial achievement that you think would give you an advantage in this opportunity, then you want to include it. Referees or references these days, we usually leave it as available or on request. I don't even put it anymore. If you need a referee from me, you let me know. I'll provide it. On your CV, there must be. On your CV, there must be a referee, or your references. There must be, because they would always need that. Maybe a former lecturer or a former professor or something. Hobbies and interests. Again, if it is relevant for this role, if it's a job that would involve traveling, and you know that, oh, one of your hobbies is traveling, then yes, you can put traveling as an hobby or an interest in your resume. So this is a quick picture of what a properly put together resume should look like. Of course, ignore the design. I mean, you don't need to copy this design. All your resumes don't need to look like this. As a matter of fact, some resumes that have too much infographics and images, shapes and objects, they sometimes don't pass through ATS. Please pay attention to that. Sometimes some resumes that have a lot of images, a lot of objects, like you can see on this particular resume, icons and shapes and objects, sometimes don't get to pass through ATS. So when you're crafting your resume, you want to put a lot of design, you want it to look good. Yes. However, pay attention. Don't let there not be too many objects and all of that, so that the ATS will not be rejecting your resume, and that will not be standing against you whenever you apply for an opportunity. Okay, so you have your personal details, your contact information, you have your phone number, you have your email address, you have your address. Now, so many people, you need to also pay attention. Don't miss out relevant information on your resume. I've had CVs that somebody apply, and then you can't find their phone number. You can't find their email address. How am I supposed to be able to reach you if I really want to take you serious on this opportunity? So please pay attention. And then for your address, well, I mean, you don't necessarily need to put all your address, like, oh, number 55, Akoka Road, this and that. Not really. You can just leave it as Akoka Road, maybe St. Finbar's Road, Akoka, Lagos. That would be fine. And if it's a resume you're sending outside of Nigeria, you want to put the country, Lagos, then you put NG or you put Nigeria, in case you will be sending that resume outside of Nigeria, so that they can know what country you're coming from. Then you have your professional summary. On this part, if you are a fresh graduate who has not had any professional work experience, what you will have is not a professional summary. what you will have there is a career objective. Is a career objective. A professional summary is simply saying, oh, this is what I have done so far. This is who I am as far as being a professional is concerned in the last how many years that I have worked. That's what a professional summary means. But for somebody who hasn't done anything, you're just coming out of school and you're seeking opportunities, you don't want to put a professional summary. What you need to put is a career objective. So you're telling whoever is seeing your resume or your CV to say, oh, these are the opportunities I'm looking out for. This is the kind of person that I am, and this is the kind of place I'm looking to come into or I'm looking to work in. All right. So let's pay attention to that. If you are a fresh graduate, what you should have is a career objective. Then if you are an experienced professional, maybe from 2-3 years upward, what you should have is a professional summary. Then, of course, you have your skills, you have your education, and then you have your relevant experience. So let's move right along. Okay, I think we have okay, I already talked about this summary and objective, so I won't go over that anymore. I already talked about that. Then education and experience. So for your experience, you want to put of course, for experienced professionals, you want to put your experience in what we call the reverse chronological order. The reverse chronological order. What does that mean? It simply means that you will list the most relevant, the most recent experiences first. The most recent experiences first. Same as your education. So you started working in 2019 all the way now to 2025. And then maybe you have changed jobs like twice or 3 times. You first put the one you're currently doing or your most recent job. Then you go to the next, then you go to the next. So you get to the place where you started from. All right. Something I also want to quickly point out when it comes to arranging your education and your experience is for fresh graduates. And please pay attention. I know that our audience today, we have quite a number of working class people. And then we have also a number of we have students, and then we have fresh graduates. So we have mostly fresh graduates and the working class, right? So that's why I keep laying emphasis on certain aspects of your resume. So for a fresh graduate, when you're arranging your resume, so you have your contact information, your name and all of that, and then you have your career objective. You don't need you don't need an headline. You don't, because except you want to put maybe your field of study, maybe a biology, biochemistry graduate or something, but you don't really need it. Immediately after your career objective, the next thing you want to put is your education. Please pay attention to that. Is your education. And why is this so? It's because you have not worked, you haven't really done anything, so you don't have experiences to put. Maybe you have internships and all of that, but that should come later. Your education should be what you want to spotlight. Your education and your skills should be what you want to spotlight on your resume, because that's what will be most important to your the person who is reviewing your CV, because you are a fresh graduate. Please pay attention to that. However, for the working class, somebody who has worked 2-3 years upward, your work experience should come first, immediately after your professional summary. What I was trying to explain there. I'm waiting. Just you can leave an emoji, or you can leave a yes, or got it. Just type something in the chat box. I want to know you are following me. All right. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. Any other person? Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you very much, Mudupe. Okay, so I'll move right along. Right. Now, before you write that resume, we've talked about, I've just talked about what are the things you need to pay attention to, what are the components that needs to feature on your resume. This is the last part of this section of this conversation. This is the last part and the most important. So I need us to really follow me. Yes, I need us to really follow me in this section. Before you write that resume, do this. I talked about that. Oh, there are certain things that you can do that will make your resume to stand out. It's like a hack. If you follow it, it works. I have used it. I've used it over and again. I review and write resumes for people. I do it for them over and over, and it works. It works, right? So before you write that resume, do this. What are these things? Number one, when you see an opportunity, okay, let me go back. When you find an opportunity, you want to identify these things. What is the target role? What is the target role? You need to quantify your experience. You need to quantify your experience, and then you need to measure how you match for this opportunity. Let me tell you the truth. A lot of people apply for opportunities they don't even qualify for. They apply for opportunities they don't match for. Recently, I was reviewing, or yes, we were reviewing at the office CVs for a certain like director level role for what's it called? Let me even for ECOWAS, actually, for ECOWAS, a director at ECOWAS, whatever. And then in the list of the CVs, we found CVs from a fresh graduate. We found CVs from this person, and it's just annoying. It's just annoying. You are giving the recruiter or whoever they are, you are giving them a lot of stress whenever you're applying for opportunities that you do not qualify for. They say that, oh, they are looking for a marketing manager, and you have nothing, no experience, nothing in marketing, and you are applying. To be honest, it's unreasonable. It's unreasonable. Stop it. If you do that, please stop it. Don't just carry your CV and send to every email whenever there's an opportunity. Please stop it. You're not helping the recruiters. You're making their jobs even more difficult. Please. All right. And that is why we're saying this thing. Before you write that resume, consider the role, quantify your experience, and do a measurement of how you match for that opportunity. Okay? When we say the target role, what do we mean? You need to put what we call a laser focus on that role. Whenever you see an opportunity, there's always a job description, all right? There's always a job description, except maybe somebody says, oh, I have an opportunity for you, send me your CV, and you don't even know what role it is. I understand that, oh, those kind of situations come, but I mean, very rare cases. And so whenever you find an opportunity, you would usually see a job description. They will tell you, oh, we're looking for somebody who will do this, who will be responsible for this and that and all of that. And they will tell you what they are looking for, what experience, how many years, and all of that. You will always see a job description. That is your opportunity to now put up your A game. Now, these are the questions you need to ask yourself. The job summary or the objectives. Why are they hiring for this role? Why is this organization hiring for this role? You need to understand. It is from that understanding you now know, oh, this is something I can do. For example, I was having a conversation with Pastor Collins recently for an opportunity that I applied for and all of that. And then he was like, oh, when did you move to this field? When did you move to this space and all of that? And then I was trying to tell him that, oh, when they shared the opportunity with me, I looked at the job information and all of that. And I understood, I discovered it was something that was within my scope. When I say my scope, it was something within my skills. It was something within my capacity. It was something that I believe that the experience that I've had has prepared me for to be able to do. That was me, not just saying every opportunity, I'm jumping at it. I want to understand, why are they hiring this role? I need to understand. Because if you don't understand, sometimes you may even be setting up yourself for failure. A job that you don't know, a job that you don't understand, you don't know why they're hiring for it, you jump on it, and then you begin to struggle. And then you begin to put a dent on your career reputation. Understand the job objective. Then go to the job duties or the responsibilities. What does this role, what does it do? What will this person do? They will always say, oh, this person will be responsible for generating leads, for doing this, for ensuring conversion and all of that. Whatever the job responsibilities are, you will find it there. Then ask yourself again, what skills, what knowledge, what abilities are needed on this job? Do they need somebody who can use some data visualization tools, Excel, Power BI, SQL, Python, whatever? What kind of skills and technical skills do they need? Do they need somebody who can manage stakeholders? Sometimes they are not technical skills, they may be soft skills. Do they need somebody who can, who can sell, somebody who can persuade people to make a decision? All right. You look at those skills. What skills do this job require? You put it there. Then experience. This one is a bit tricky because there's what we call transferable skills or transferable experience. Please, can you confirm if you can still hear me? You can just leave a chat, leave a message in the chat box if you can still hear me. This thing just told me that my network is unstable. All right, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. Now, experience. This is a bit, so in this, when we come to experience and skills, there's what we call transferable skills. So you have been working. So maybe, for example, they say they are looking for a marketing manager, or no, let's say a sales manager, but you haven't worked directly as a sales manager, but you have worked in roles, you have had responsibilities that 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 you've done things that are similar to selling, maybe client management, client relationship, and all of that. Some roles that are related to convincing people, persuading people, getting people to do things that they ordinarily will not even do by themselves, and all of that. If you have done things like that, then you want to check those experiences may be relevant, even though the job title may not be the same. So you want to check your experience. Okay, maybe I've done things that are related to this. Then if they are, then you should make sure that they are captured on your resume. Of course, then you go to KPIs, even though sometimes this is not always represented in all job descriptions anyways. KPIs, sometimes they do it at maybe for high-level roles. They leave it for high-level roles, but not all the time for other kind of roles. But yes, KPIs is also something you want to check. How will success be measured on this role? If somebody comes into this job, how will the person know that they are succeeding on this role? When you have seen it or you've identified it, then you want to ask yourself, can I do this? Can I achieve this? If your answer to that question is maybe or yes, then it might be the right opportunity for you to apply for. Education, personal education, what educational qualifications and training are required? Personal attributes, who does this person in this role have to be? What kind of a person? Who does this person have to be? Does it have to be somebody who can talk? Somebody who can talk like me? If they say they need somebody who can talk like me, and you know that you cannot talk, hey, you may struggle on that role. All right. What relationships are important and what certification and licenses? By the time you have, gone through all of these questions, you will know where you stand, or you will have a good understanding of what they are looking for in this role, or if you're going to succeed if you apply for this opportunity. All right, let's move. So we've gone through the laser focus on the role. Then let's move to the next one. Then you want to quantify your experience. like I already started saying, when they talked about experience and skills, you want to ask, what kind of activity? It could be an activity, like I said, it could be a task, or it could be a key job requirement. What are some of the things that they've identified on that job description that you think you may have done before, that you think you can do, or that you may have done before? You want to outline them, and you want to show how you have demonstrated them in your previous role. All right? How demonstrated. You want to go back to your previous experiences where you have worked in a school, or you have worked in a TV station and all of that. In all of this role, how have you demonstrated this skill or these experiences before? All right? And when you did so, what was the benefit? What was the benefit? What was the outcome of that process? And of course, you can also quantify it if it's something that you can quantify. If it is that, oh, I was able to persuade 15 parents. I was able to persuade 15 parents to register their children in our school. That's a sales achievement. I was able to persuade 50 people to subscribe to our insurance plan. That's a sales achievement. All right. Or if it's a marketing, I was able to leverage data analytics, data visualization to improve decision making for our marketing campaigns and all of that. You want to quantify, you want to first identify the skill, the experience you've demonstrated, what was the benefit, and then if it is possible, you can also quantify it. Quantify simply means you want to put numbers, you want to put percentages, you want to maybe measure it in percentages or in numbers. All right. When you do all of this, by the time you do all of this, first you've understood the job, you've broken down the job into all these questions that we asked here, and then you now begin to look internally, your experience and everything, and you begin to match answers. You begin to match answers to those questions. By the time you've done all of this, you would have known if you are fit for this opportunity, if you stand a better chance at succeeding on this opportunity. You will know. You will know. You will be confident by the time you are sending your resume. All right. And then, of course, how do you match? What skills have you identified? How have you proven the skills? And then remember, transferable skills. Transferable skills, like I said, what skill, what knowledge have you applied in a previous job that will be relevant for you? You want to put that there as well. Okay, so this part that I've just talked about is the most important thing that you need, is the most important thing that you need to do to be able to tailor your resume appropriately for opportunities. If you don't go through this process, any other thing that you do, if you like, put the best design, go and hire the best graphics designer to design your CV, and the information that you have on that resume is useless, it will still fall short. You won't get anything. If you like, some people, they prefer their CV is not properly tailored, is not well arranged, and then they're going to be praying and all of that. I know that God do miracles, right? There's the grace of God. I know that, and I'm not speaking against that. As a matter of fact, it has been working for me. I don't send any of my resume for a job I really want and not really pray about it. No, I don't do that. I pray about it, but I do the necessary work. I do the necessary work. Faith without work is dead. If you just send your resume that is just scattered everywhere, and you just expect the Holy Ghost to go and help you to tailor that resume, I mean, come on. What do you expect? So you do the job, and then, of course, you trust God, you pray, and you can believe for a profitable outcome, for a successful outcome. So when you've done all of that, you can then begin to now structure your CV. Can now begin to arrange your CV, put the name and all the design. So, of course, after you've put your name, like we've said earlier, you put your name and you put your contact information. We're wrapping up. Sorry, give me a second. Just give me a second. Okay. Yeah, so because well on this is the last part, and then we can take questions and answer. So skills related headline, you want to, for your headline, you can have a skills related headline, maybe a what's it called? A marketing specialist with what some technical skill in that space. You may want to put it as a headline. Of course, your headline is a one line marketing expert or digital marketing expert, learning and development specialist, talent development specialist, or organization development expert. Whatever your field is, whatever is it that you're doing, you can use that as a headline. Then you want, okay, these are examples of relevant headlines. These are examples: human resources manager, the ones that you want to put your years of experience, graphics designer with 5 years experience, projects manager with 10 years, human resources manager with 15 years. All of this could pass as your headline. You want to put industry specific, financial analyst with expertise in forensic accounting and auditing, all those kind of things. Digital marketing specialist in Facebook ads and all of that. These are examples of skills related headline that you can use. Let's move right along. Then your career summary, like I said, you can have a career objective for fresh graduates, and then you can have a professional summary for experienced professionals. So you want to provide a quick snapshot of you as a professional, and your goal is to provide a 2-paragraph high-level overview of your entire career. That is what you've done in all of your 15, 5, 3 years of experience. So for example, now we have here, it says, I am a goal-oriented project manager. You've told us who you are with 3 years of experience, how many years of experience you have. You've done that, supporting the strategic direction of large-scale programs, setting budgets and all of that. You've identified to us some of the things that you have done and the skills that you possess. That's what you've done with this quick 2-line, 1-paragraph, 2-line headline professional summary. For 15 years person, you have it there, result-driven nonprofit manager with 15 years experience developing and all of that, right? So you have your professional summary. Moving right along, then you want to highlight your skills. Highlight job-specific skills that are directly related to the opportunity you are applying for. And then your work history, which is where would stop. Your work history, like I said, has to be in reverse chronological order. You want to put the job title, the company name, and the location, and then the month and the years you worked there. So you want to say digital marketing specialist at Access Bank, Lagos, Nigeria, from January 2021 to February 2024. You want to put it there. And then for organizations that are not popular, so there are organizations that everybody know, and there are some organizations that only you know them. You want to put a 1-sentence description of that organization. You want to put it there so that they can know where you're coming from. But if it's an organization that a lot of people know, like MTN, Airtel, Access Bank, UBA, you don't need it, because, I mean, the chances that they will know the organization is very high. Then you want to put 3 to 7 high-level sentences of your accomplishments and key roles. All right. So the things that you achieved and that you did on that job, you want to put at least 3, a minimum of 3, and a maximum of a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 7. And then you want to make sure that those sentences as well, those bullet points, are also actionable. They are actionable words. They are actionable words. They are like they show what you did or what you're doing if you are still on the job and what you have achieved. All right. So because of time, this is where I'm going to take a pause. All right. This is where I'm going to take a pause so we can take the questions and the answers. Thank you very much. Right, so we can take the questions and answers now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul.
Thank you.
Okay. So if you can hear me on the call and you have questions, you can kindly type it in the chat box. Okay, someone is saying, can we have the soft copy for this, sir? Mr. Paul.
Yeah, yeah, sure. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you have more questions, you can put it in the chat box and Mr. Paul will answer. But before we start reading questions, I want to ask a question. I'm not sure I got that, sir. What would be the career profile or career summary for a fresh graduate? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Did you say why, or I think
Said what will be, because on your screen the career profile had people with experience, somebody with 3 years experience, with 2 years experience. So I'm asking, what would be the career profile or career summary of a fresh graduate or someone that doesn't have experience in the field that he or she is going
okay.
in?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think I did mention that. So first I said for a fresh graduate, you don't use a career summary, you use a career objective. All right. I did say that. And what you put in your career objective is you want to tell us, or you are a fresh graduate in so and so field, right? And you want to tell us you have this and these skills, okay? And then you want to tell us you are seeking opportunities in so and so field and so and so industry. So let's say you are a mass communication graduate. So you want to say, oh, I am uh, uh, so you can go straight and say, oh, I'm a mass communication graduate with distinction, with skills in, I'm just saying this off the top of my head anyways, so don't take it verbatim, with skills in public relation, script writing, and all of that, seeking opportunities at a media house, and all of that in maybe Lagos, Nigeria, or something. Of course, you don't necessarily need to put location. So, but the idea is you want to tell us who you are, like maybe a bit about your personality, what you studied. If you have a good grade that you know you want to boast of, you can include it there. Then you want to tell us some of the skills that you have acquired in the course of your program, the knowledge and skills you have acquired in the course of your program, and you want to tell us the kind of jobs that you're looking for and where you're seeking them. Yeah, so that's it. Does that help?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
The next
Uh,
question says, can I put my date of birth in my CV, and where can it be fixed? If yes,
if
can
you
I put
say
my birth in my
yes,
CV? Where can it be fixed? Okay,
yes,
over to you, sir.
yes, if you say CV, and please remember that we did a bit of a differentiation between a CV and a resume. If you say your CV, yes, you can put your date of birth, your marital status, and even maybe your gender. You can put it on your CV. Please, you can say I'm making emphasis on your CV, and maybe not at the top. You can put it like later, later, like below, after all the relevant information. But on your resume, no, no need, no need, except if the job description clearly states that you should put your date of birth or your gender or your marital status. If not, There's nothing. Your date of birth should not be on your resume. Your marital status should not be there. Even your gender these days, I don't know. It's not necessary. You don't need it. Right. So that's my response.
Okay, sir. I'm sure the person that asked has gotten that already. The next question, what is your take on profile images on CVs?
Yes. Thank you very much. Again, I hope the people who are asking these questions were part of this conversation at the start of this conversation, because we made a bit of a clarification between CVs and resumes. Now, if you say CVs again, like I said, CVs are mostly used for academic purposes, political appointments, public offices, roles, and all of that. In some cases, your picture may be relevant on your CV. Again, like I said, and again, some countries have their own. Some countries have different guidelines for resumes. So some countries would allow you to put your picture on your CV or your resume. But as far as I know, as far as Nigeria is concerned, your picture is not needed. It's not needed on your resume and even on your CV, except if the opportunity you're applying for is, that image picture should be there. If you're very clear, then that's when you should put your picture. But if you're not clear and is not clearly requested, your image or your picture is not needed on your resume. It's not. That's why your LinkedIn profile is there. You should have your picture on your LinkedIn profile, and you should have your LinkedIn, a link to your LinkedIn profile on your resume, so that anybody who is reviewing your profile, your CV, can check you out on LinkedIn. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. We are moving to the next question. This one is a little bit lengthy, but I'll just read. For those who plan to switch career roles and does not have any work experience related to the new role they are switching to. Are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, I'm with you. I can hear you.
Okay, but just skills that they are yet to put to test in a professional setting. How can they craft a CV that will make them to stand out, bearing in mind that recruiters are always looking for experienced hire? I don't know if you got that question, sir.
Yes, thank you. I did. Again, I see most of the people who are asking questions keep saying CV. I hope I tried to make that clarification during my presentation. I did hope, but if you didn't get it earlier, I'm saying it again. When you are applying for a specific job, what you should be preparing is your resume, not your CV. Okay? But to now go to answer the question, if you are trying to switch careers and you don't have any experience, remember that we talked about transferable skills. We talked about transferable skills. Have you done anything before whatsoever? Anything anywhere before whatsoever that there are responsibilities or skills you have leveraged that you know that will be useful in this new career space that you are switching to? You want to include it. So you want to include that experience, but what you will capture under the bullet points will be, you will have to tailor those sentences to the way that they are relevant to this new career space. Secondly, if you're trying to switch to a new career space, I want to believe that you would have taken a certain course, you would have taken a certain program or a certification that would enable you to be able to switch career. I don't think anybody just switches career except you find someone who is taking a chance on you, and that person may not even need your resume at that point, because they're just saying, come in, don't worry, just come and do whatever you can and you will grow. But if you are switching career and you're applying for opportunities with organizations, I want to believe that you would have either taken a course, a certification, or acquired a skill that you know that you would be able to leverage in this new career space. Because you don't just switch career and just go to, you are probably working as a human resource person, and then you just go and say you want to be a software engineer. On what basis? There has to be something you have done, a knowledge you have acquired, or a skill you have acquired that is relevant for that space. Those are the information you want to feature on your resume. Like I see you put there, but just skills that they are yet to put to test in a professional setting. Yes, make sure that those skills are clearly outlined in your resume. And maybe what you want to be applying for could be maybe internships, maybe could be internships or entry-level opportunity or volunteer opportunities where you want to gain at least, even if it's 3 months or 4 months experience, that you can now capture properly as a work experience in that industry. How can they craft a CV that will make them stand out? Like I said, try to first consider, do you have transferable skills from a previous job? If yes, put that job there and tailor the information under that job to what is relevant to this new career space. Also identify the courses, the skills, the certifications you have acquired that are relevant to this space. Highlight them, let them show. Those will be things that you can show on your resume for a career switch. Yes. I hope that helps the person who asked the question. Thank you. Hi, Ada.
Oh,
Yes, I'm
hi,
through.
hi, I'm here. All right, thank you, sir. So the next question, I think you've mentioned this before, but just um, it says please kindly outline what should be included in a CV to apply for scholarships. Is the CV different from the normal CV for job application? I think you've
Hmm.
mentioned this before, but you can still try
Yes.
to.
Yes, it is. It's different. It's different from, thank you very much, Ada. And then, yeah, it's different from the CV or the resume you use for your job application. So, of course, you have the basic things, which are your contact information, as your name. You just give me a second. You have your name, and then this time around, when you're preparing a CV for academic purposes, for scholarships, you want to have your full address, actually. The other time I said just put your landmark, the state and all of that. You want to put your full address this time around. You want to put your email address. You want to put your mobile contact information. And of course, if you have a LinkedIn, yes. Then the next thing, since you're applying for scholarship, you want to put your research interest. You want to put your research interest area to say maybe the one you have already carried out before and also the ones you're interested in. You want to put your career, your research interest on that CV. Then, of course, you want to put your education. You want to put your education. You want to put in that education, you want to put your grade. You want to put your grade. You want to put your maybe like I said, the research focus, what you did in your research. If it is your first degree, you want to put it there. Then you want to have your work experience. If you have work experience, you want to put all of that. Then you want to put your skills, relevant skills and competencies. You want to put it there. You want to also put your professional certifications. If you have professional certifications, every one of them that is relevant for the scholarship you're applying for, you want to include them there. Then you also want to include publications. If you have publications that you have done in the past, you want to put that. You want to put your professional memberships. Professional memberships. If you belong to professional bodies that are relevant to what you're applying for, the scholarship, you want to put that as well in your, what's it called, on your CV for scholarship applications. You want to put your interest. You want to put your interest, your area of interest. You can also put your hobbies. You also want to put, if you have awards that you have received in the past as well, you want to put that. And then you also want to put your leadership and volunteer experience. Okay, if you've volunteered in the past for whatever cause, and then if you've served in leadership positions at whatever capacity, maybe in school, maybe in church, wherever it is, you want to put that leadership experience as well on your CV. All of these things it's just helping them to understand your person. It's helping them to understand how you have prepared yourself to be the right fit for this scholarship opportunity. Right. So I think these are the extras aside from the regular information that that needs to be included on your CV for academic or scholarship opportunities. I hope that helps. Whoever the person that asked the question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. We are so happy to have you here once again. Thank you for the awesome time. I mean, I just learned some new things. Gaining knowledge is a very good thing for me. Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Paul. Thank you, everyone,
Thank you.
for joining today's meeting.
Yeah.
Want you
Hi,
to watch out.
Ada. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
I think a question came in from Timile, and I
okay.
think if there's time, I can take it. If not, maybe we can take it offline.
All right, we can just quickly take it so we can close the meeting. How about the age-bound job application? Can one still apply even when the age limit is clearly stated? That's the question, sir.
Yes, yes, thank
Age-bound
you.
job.
Yes. It's a bit tricky, to be honest. It's a bit tricky. Even I've been a victim of of those kind of experience before, when you know that you qualify for a job, but they've already put age. Like, for example, most of these graduate trainee opportunities, you would usually see don't view. It's a bit tricky, to be honest. If it is not all those graduate trainee opportunities, if it's another job, maybe a more experienced level job, if you know that you stand as a very strong candidate, you know very well that you stand as a really strong candidate. I don't know. You can just give it a try, to be honest. You know that, oh, your experiences, your skills, your personality, everything, it positions you as a strong candidate for this opportunity. Then you can give it a try. You could find favor. The recruiter may, try to look at your side, and then, and that's why you should not put your age on your resume, except it is clearly requested. Don't put your age. Let it be that they've identified you as a really strong candidate. They ask you to maybe come for an interview and you do really well, and they know that, this guy is like really fit for this job. Then let them be the one to now start, uh having that conversation about, should we let him pass? Should we let a really great candidate pass because of age and all of that? You understand? But if you know that you don't really match up for this opportunity, and age is not even on your side for this opportunity, please just let it go. Don't go and make, make a mess of the opportunity for yourself. But if you are very sure that you stand as a really strong candidate, then yes, please, you can give it a try. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure Simile has gotten that. Thank you very much, sir. Once again, thank you everyone who've gone beyond our stipulated time. We would like everyone to watch the WhatsApp channel for the next edition. But for today, we are signing out now. Is Pastor Collins still on the call? Pastor Collins, sir.
Yes.
Please,
Yes. So
sir.
thank you everyone for joining. Really appreciate you. Career Clinic doesn't end here. We have more editions coming, so look out for them. And I trust that as you've gotten value from this edition, you also get more value and you get the desired growth that you need for your career. Thank you, everyone. This is where we draw the curtain for tonight, up to today's Career Clinic. See you in the next edition. Bye for now.